If you end up liking this video and finding it helpful, then give it a thumbs up and leave your comments below about what your experiences are of using this video. And also, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and the bell button near the subscribe button so that you can be kept informed when future videos like this go live.
Close your eyes as I tell you a story about Milton's magical journey asleep. So with your eyes closed, you can listen to me reading this story, and while I read this story, you can begin to feel relaxed. And as I read, you can imagine this story and begin to drift off to sleep. And as you drift off asleep, you can continue this story in a dream. And my reading will help you feel sleepy, it will help you feel tired, and it will help you fall asleep. Every night, just before bed, Milton would get excited. He loved to fall asleep. He looked forward to bedtime, even when he wasn't tired and sleepy, because bedtime was when he could drift off to sleep into a magical land of fun and make-believe, where he could do anything he wanted. This magical land of fun and make-believe was a land of dreams. The land of dreams could only be accessed by going to bed, getting sleepy, snuggling up into your covers and drifting off to sleep. As bedtime drew near, Milton got ready for bed and would start to yawn. He then went and brushed his teeth and climbed into bed, ready to sleep. One of his parents would then take some time to read him a story as he lay in bed, starting to drift off to sleep. As Milton started to drift off to sleep, he would start to dream about the story he was being read, and he would begin to go on a magical journey into his land of dreams. One day, when Milton was drifting off to sleep, listening to his mum reading a bedtime story to him, he could feel himself travelling to his land of dreams. It felt like he was flying through a magical tunnel, flying deeper and deeper down the tunnel towards that land of dreams. The tunnel was dark with flashes of purple light and colour. The tunnel seemed to sparkle with what looked like millions of twinkling stars all around him. Milton was excited as he continued travelling through this tunnel. He knew this flying, floating feeling meant he was falling asleep and getting closer to his land of dreams. Off in the distance, Milton could see the exit of the tunnel. It looked like a green meadow with trees. He never knew where he would be when he arrived in his dreamland. He was always excited to find out. As Milton continued to fly through the purple shimmering tunnel towards his dreamland, he could feel himself drifting off to sleep. Once Milton felt himself drifting off to sleep, he liked to notice how his body was falling asleep as his mind travelled off to his land of dreams. Milton thought about his head. What does it feel like? He said to himself. He noticed he could feel his hair. He could feel the pillow under his head. He could feel his eyes being closed and the breathing through his nose. As Milton let himself relax more, he noticed that the muscles in his head and around his face were beginning to relax. It was like his face and head were falling asleep. Milton wondered, how will my body continue to relax next? As Milton thought this, he noticed the relaxing had moved down from his head and into his shoulders. He could feel his shoulders beginning to fall asleep comfortably. And this relaxation, this falling asleep comfortably feeling that was spreading, carefully moved down into his arms. He liked to pay attention to that relaxation, to see which arm was becoming most relaxed fastest. He didn't know if the relaxation would get to his left hand or his right hand first. Once both arms and hands were relaxed, the relaxation, the falling asleep comfortably feeling began to spread down through his body. Milton loved this falling asleep feeling because to really enjoy dreamland, his body needed to be fast asleep so that his mind could enjoy being in the dreamland. Milton noticed that both his arms now felt heavy, and at times he noticed it was like they had fallen asleep so deeply and so comfortably that he almost couldn't feel them. As Milton's body began to relax, he could see that he was getting nearer to the end of the purple sparkling tunnel. He could see his dreamland getting closer and closer. The falling asleep feeling spread comfortably down through Milton's body, into his legs. Like with his arms, Milton wondered which leg the falling asleep feeling will spread down fastest. He wondered which foot will fall asleep first. Milton knew once his body had totally fallen asleep, from the top of his head to the tips of his toes, he would arrive in his dreamland. As the falling asleep feeling finally reached Milton's toes, he noticed how slowly and sleepy and comfortably his body felt. As he drifted away from being aware of his body to drifting into dreamland. In dreamland now, Milton looked around. He found himself stood up on a bank at the top of a long green garden. Around the outside of the garden was tall trees full of rustling leaves. At the end of the garden was a play park with swings and climbing frames and roundabouts and lots of other fun rides. Milton walked slowly down the 10 steps from where he was standing down to the main part of the garden below. As he walked down the steps, he slowly counted down to himself how many steps were left. 10, Milton said quietly to himself, before stepping onto the first step. 9, 8, 7. Milton could feel himself become deeper absorbed in the dreamland as he walked down the steps. 6, 5, 4. Milton could see he only had a few steps left before stepping on to the soft, cool green grass. 3, 2, 1. Milton stepped gently onto the cool green grass. As he took a deep breath, he could smell the beautiful smell of all the flowers in the garden. Milton walked down to the play area to spend some time playing before he went on his latest adventure. After playing for a while, Milton went to an old wooden door at the back of the garden. He could feel the warmth of the sun on his face and see dancing rays of sunlight shining through the trees. He opened the magical old wooden door, wondering what adventures would be there for him today. And as he opens the door, so you can dream about Milton's adventures with him while you sleep, and have pleasant dreams all night long.